Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you as always by MEOR DC. Find us on Facebook or at meordc.org, and please be in touch. Something I want to share with you tonight, very extraordinary, outlandish even, in a certain sense. Imagine you, a Jewish person, living a couple of thousand years ago in the land of Israel, at a time in our history where most of the Jewish people made a living from the land, from agriculture. Imagine all those people who worked the land, raising the daily and yearly bread, all the people stopping planting for a whole year, essentially stopping working for the whole year. And not only that, but all of their fields and whatever grows during that year, when they're not doing any planting or sowing, whatever grows in that year is owned by everyone collectively. Outlandish, extraordinary. What? And if you ask them, hey, Jewish people, what are you doing? They would say, because God told us that every seventh year in this land, this holy land of Israel, we are not to work the land. And the land really doesn't belong to us anymore, or at least not to me personally any more than to anybody else. The land essentially becomes ownerless the seventh year. You'd say, incredible, outlandish. It's the commandment known, the mitzvah known as Shemitah, the sabbatical year. Every seventh year in the land of Israel, not working the land, not making a living from the land, the whole country. What's going to happen? How are we going to have food enough to eat? God says in the Torah, don't worry, the sixth year's crop will be plentiful and bountiful enough that it will tide you over till you plant in the eighth year and then reap in the ninth year. It's an awesome commandment. It was an awesome test of faith and trust in God. It was also an incredible opportunity to catch up with some Torah learning. There was no Rabbi E in 3 in those days, but you could go to your study hall a whole year. But let's just stop and think about this for a second, because now our sources tell us we weren't perfect in keeping this commandment of Shemitah. And in fact, the laxity in this commandment was one of the reasons we were exiled from the land in the time of the first temple. But the fact that the Torah, first of all, gives us such a commandment, what an awesome responsibility, challenge, and test of faith. What an awesome opportunity to take a sabbatical for learning every 7 years. So many, many Jews obviously did keep it to the best of their ability, and we can stand in wonder at that. The truth is, there are many farmers nowadays who keep the laws of Shemitah as well, and the rest of the Jewish people try to support them during that seventh year with special tzedakah donations. Okay, we have a weekly opportunity to step back and not make a living. It's called Shabbat. Indeed, the Shemitah year is called by the Torah the Sabbath of the land. So there's a conceptual connection, an obvious one, between our seventh day and the seventh year in the land of Israel. One day where we step back to reflect, to look inward, to be with family, not to be pursuing commercial activities or making a living. How can I do that? How will I make a living? Trust and have faith in God like our people have done throughout the centuries. So Shabbat, the Sabbath, we have an opportunity to do every week, and the Sabbath of the land. Awesome mitzvot for an awesome people. Have a great Shabbos.